Welcome to the Essential Oil Safety course. I'm so happy that you're here. I'm Olivia, or Liv Holistic. I made this course for you because I've made all of the essential oil mistakes. I'm talking like I put tea tree oil on my cat. So toxic. I've ingested oils daily. I put peppermint oil on my nephews when they were babies. I made all of the mistakes, and that's simply because I didn't know any better. My essential oil journey started when I used oils to get rid of toenail fungus. But that's a story for another day. But when the essential oils got rid of my nail fungus, I thought like what else can these oils be used for? And I immediately signed up for a popular multi-level marketing essential oil company. I wanted to learn everything possible about essential oils, except what I didn't know is that I was learning wrong or unsafe information. There really isn't a ton of essential oil safety out there. And when you Google it, you see a lot of contradicting information. And it was so frustrating, so confusing. For years, I was using essential oils improperly. And of course, like I said before, I made a lot of mistakes. So then I decided to go back to school and become a certified aromatherapist. And I learned all of the proper safety tips. I also quit the multi-level marketing position and decided to branch out on my own and focus on talking about the safety of essential oils and that essential oils can be affordable and accessible to everybody. That's when my social media blew up, and that was fun and exciting. And now I have my own line of essential oils, which is also like so crazy and amazing, literally a dream come true for me. And now I am here to talk about the safety of oils and finally get good information on how to use essential oils safely and effectively in your home, because we need that. Being a content creator, I get a lot of questions and I usually just reply to everybody's DM separately, but now this course gives me an opportunity to answer all of those questions in one place. So for example, we're gonna start the course with just general safety information, safety tips. Next, we're going to move on to carrier oils and how to dilute essential oils properly. Then we're moving on to essential oil safety in kids, very common questions. Next is pets, another super common question. Fifth module talks about using essential oils when you're pregnant or nursing. Each module includes the safety tips and recommendations along with DIY recipes. This course also comes with some bonuses, so you can get my DIY ebook for free that's in the bonus section, and also an essential oil cheat sheet, so you can just print that out, put it on your fridge, and you know exactly how. You don't have to memorize any of the information then. So it's a condensed version of all the safety tips, simple, easy, right there. I am so excited and happy that you're here. Thank you for being here and joining the course. Comment your name and where you're from and what you're most excited to learn, and let's just dive right in and get started. Welcome to the Essential Oil Safety course, where we're going to go through how to use essential oils safely and effectively, and let's get started. So, are all essential oils created equal? No, they are not. And there are a few things you want to look for to find high quality essential oils. So, since essential oils are not regulated, it's really important that we depend on third-party testing. And that is typically GC-MS testing for quality. And what that just stands for is gas chromatography mass spectrometry. And it's really just the brand's way of showing that their essential oils are what they say they are, and they really are 100% pure. Okay, so I briefly mentioned carrier oils in module 1 when I talked about diluting essential oils. You always want to dilute them with a carrier oil. So what is a carrier oil? A carrier oil is any oil that is safe to apply to your skin that you would blend with the essential oil so it dilutes the essential oil. Here are some examples of carrier oils like jojoba oil, coconut oil, olive oil, pumpkin seed oil, great for your hair, argan oil, and it can even be aloe vera gel, unscented lotion, shampoos, castle soap, anything that you would rub on your skin or in your hair. Why we dilute this is to avoid any skin reaction like redness, burning, or phototoxicity, which is more common for the citrusy oils. So diluting isn't really the best word for it because it actually helps your skin absorb the essential oil better, meaning you can use less essential oil. So really 1 drop of essential oil can go pretty far as long as you're diluting it properly. And when do you want to dilute? Always, literally always dilute essential oils when you're using them on your hair, skin, nails. Always dilute them. So here are your DIY dilution rates if you're making anything for yourself. So for cosmetics, face, and deodorant, you want to dilute to 1%. And these dilution rates are for an adult who is not pregnant. Later in the course, we'll talk about dilution rates for children and if you're pregnant or nursing. Body oils and lotions, 1 to 3%. Bath products, this is if you're making your own bubble bath or soap, that would be 2 to 4%. Acne spot treatments and wounds is 2 to 10%. And it's also important to note that you don't want to put essential oils directly in broken skin or a wound. So you would apply it around it. And for roller bottles, that's typically 3 to 10% depending on who's using it. And you're probably wondering, like, what do these percentages mean? This is what I mean. So for example, the cosmetics and face DIYs was 1% dilution. That would mean 3 drops of essential oil per 2 teaspoons of a carrier oil. You can download this chart in this module as well. So in module 1, we also talked about patch testing and how that's a general safety tip. If you're using a new essential oil, you want to patch test to make sure that you don't have a reaction from it. So how you do that is you properly dilute the essential oil with a carrier oil. So you can go back here and see what do you want to use this for and what would the proper dilution be. And then you would apply it to your inner wrist. That's a very sensitive part of our skin, and just wait 12 hours. If you notice any redness, itchiness, scratchiness, burning, just don't use that essential oil. It irritates your skin and probably just isn't the one for you, and you can use something else then. Now let's talk about essential oil safety in kids. These are some pretty common questions that I get. So these are some essential oils that you want to avoid with kids under the age of 10. Cassia, clove, eucalyptus, lemongrass, peppermint, rosemary, and ylang ylang. And cedarwood you want to avoid with kids under 5, and wintergreen is 12. The safety risk that comes with these is, for example, some of these can increase risk of a seizure in children, or it could really irritate their skin. And I'm not saying these safety tips to scare you or make you feel nervous. It's more so you know exactly how to use them and use them safely and effectively with confidence. So safety tips for using oils with kids. You don't want to use oils with infants under 6 months old. This is just because their skin is so sensitive. You don't want to add anything on it that can irritate their skin. Don't apply near eyes or mouth. Getting essential oils in the eye is very, very uncomfortable, and in your mouth is just too close that the child could ingest the essential oil. And you don't want to leave diffusers on in a child's room when they're sleeping. If you do want to use essential oils in the diffuser, turn the diffuser on while you're getting ready for bed, and then just turn it off before you leave the room. And always dilute appropriately for the child's age. This is again to avoid any risk of irritation. So dilution rates for kids, 6 to 24 months is 0.25 to 50% dilution, 2 to 6, 1 to 2%, 6 to 15, 1.5 to 3, and 15 plus is 2.5 to 5%. And this really all depends on where you're applying the essential oil. Typically for kids, I always recommend applying to the bottoms of their feet or along their spine or on their belly. And here's the breakdown of what these percentages look like, and you can also download this as well. So safely using diffusers around kids is, again, don't leave the diffuser on in the child's room when they're sleeping. Only diffuse kid-safe oils in their bedrooms, playrooms, or rooms that a child is in often. In this module, I made a list of kid-safe oils that you can use and a few blends that would be beneficial for kids too. You can download it here in this lesson, and it's also in this module under the downloadable section. Alrighty, so now we're going to talk about essential oil safety with your pets. These are my 2 babies, Toby the golden retriever and Ziggy the cat. They are absolutely best friends, and I love them so much. So it's very important for me to use essential oils safely and responsibly around them. So here are the tips, starting with dogs. So these are essential oils that you want to avoid with dogs, meaning topically and aromatically. And you don't need to memorize this or anything. You don't need to screenshot or take any notes. I already have this in the download section, so you can just print it out or download it to your phone. So even though these essential oils can't be used with your dog, doesn't mean that you can't use them. So you can still use these topically in your shampoo, on your body. Just make sure you wash your hands after handling them before petting your dog. And these are some safe essential oils. So essential oils can be very beneficial for dogs. So here are some popular essential oils that are safe to use with them. So cedarwood, citronella, you'll notice a little asterisk there. on citronella and a few others. That just means that these oils have a maximum dilution rate when using them topically. So what I like to do is avoid these essential oils with the asterisk with smaller dogs under 25 pounds, and with larger dogs, dilute the oils to 0.25, which we're going to talk about more later. Clary sage, cypress, frankincense, great for your dog's skin. Geranium, very calming. Juniper berry, great for keeping ticks away. Lavender, another calming one. Lemon, lemongrass, lime, patchouli, and sweet orange. We have a dog safe DIY section in this module, and we're going to be using some of these essential oils in those DIYs. So when you're using oils topically on dogs, dilution rates matter just like they do for humans. So if your dog is 25 pounds or less, you want to dilute to 0.25 to 0.5%. 25 to 50 pounds, it's 0.5 to 0.75%. And dogs more than 50 pounds, these are the bigger dogs like Toby, then you dilute to 0.75% to 1%. And you'll notice that these percentages are much smaller than what they are for people. And if you're wondering what these percentages mean, here's the chart so you know exactly how many drops per essential oil would be used per a carrier oil. Here are some carrier oils that you can use topically with your dog. So coconut oil is really good for reducing doggy dandruff and reducing any odor. Maybe they got sprayed by a skunk or just rolled in something. Coconut oil is a great carrier oil to use. Another one is sunflower oil, which is very nourishing for their skin, and it can even improve scar tissue. And you'll notice an asterisk, that just means it's good for topical use only. Another great carrier oil is sweet almond oil, which is very hydrating for your dog's skin and your human skin, but we'll stay on track with the dogs. So if your dog has dry skin or is itching a lot, sweet almond oil would be a great carrier oil to use. Next, here are some general safety tips that you want to use with your pets in general. So you never want to apply oils topically to a cat. Cats are self-cleaning animals, so when they're applied topically, they're most likely going to ingest them, and their liver does not metabolize oils at all. And it can actually be very toxic to them, leading to respiratory issues and even liver failure. So it's very important, never put oils topically on your cat. And even when diffusing, there's some pretty important safety tips that you want to follow, and we're going to talk about that in the next lesson when we focus on cat safety. Next, when diffusing, leave the door open so your pet has the option to leave the room if they want to. This means even if you're diffusing a dog-safe oil, you still want to leave the door open so they can come in and out of the room as they please. Their sense of smell is so much better than ours, so what they're smelling is a lot stronger than what we are smelling. And they simply might not like the smell, or they might want to take a little break from it. So always just give them the option to leave the room. For smaller apartments, crack a window when diffusing. This just helps with the ventilation so it doesn't become overwhelming in your home. And next, we're going to talk about essential oil safety for your cats. So using essential oils with cats is a little bit different than dogs. Cats are much more sensitive to oils than dogs are. So here is the list of oils you want to avoid with cats. You'll notice it's all the same oils that were on the dog list, except with a few extras like geranium, grapefruit, lavender, lemon, lemongrass, orange. So you want to avoid using these essential oils when your cat is around you. So we already talked about how no essential oils should be used topically on a cat. These should also not be diffused around your cat as well. So here are some safe ways to use essential oils with cats in the house, because you don't have to avoid them. Here are just extra precautions you want to take if you have a cat at home. So you want to store essential oils with the caps on tight, out of reach of the cat. And I know cats seem to own the house and go everywhere in the house. So you want to make sure they're in a cabinet, in an essential oil box, or just a place where they're not going to be getting to them. Do not leave essential oils diffusers in a place where your cat hangs out often, especially if you're using a reed diffuser. Those are the kind that have the liquid on the bottom with the sticks coming out of the container. Your cat can knock it onto the floor, walk on top of it with its paws, and the essential oils will be on its paws. Cats cannot metabolize essential oils the same way we do, so it's best to keep diffusers in places where your cats don't hang out very often. And when you're using essential oils topically on yourself, make sure you wash your hands after using them before petting your cat. So this might sound like a bit of a bummer if you live in a small apartment and you have a cat and you really wanted to diffuse oils or benefit oils aromatically, here are some other ways around that. So you can use a personal inhaler, or you can make your own personal inhaler. And I'm going to show you how to do that at the end of this lesson. And always wash your hands after using essential oils topically for yourself, just so you don't, and wash your hands after using essential oils topically so you're not petting those essential oils on your cat. And cover your skin where the essential oil was applied. So that means if you put it on the bottoms of your feet, put socks on, or if you put it on your arms, put long sleeves on. Just cover your skin so your cat won't brush up against you and then get the oils on them. So now I'm going to show you how to make a personal diffuser. I just thought it'd be so much easier to show you how to make a personal diffuser instead of trying to describe it in the course, like with words and everything. So what you're going to need is a bag, cotton balls, and an essential oil. I'm using geranium. It's one of my favorites. Okay, so what we're going to do is just grab a few cotton balls, get your essential oil. It's just such a happy essential oil. All right, and then we're going to add a few drops right to the cotton balls. And then we're putting the cotton balls in the bag, sealed up, and then you'll just smell straight from the bag. So I get a huge whiff of geranium. It smells so good. So this is great if your cat is always around you. You don't really want to diffuse essential oils. You can do this and still get the benefits of them. This is also really good to do on airplanes. You can still get the benefits without having the whole room smell like the essential oil. I'm traveling soon. I'm going to take this with me. So that is how you make your own personal diffuser. In Module 5, we're going to talk about using essential oils safely while you're pregnant or nursing. Starting with the general safety tips is that you want to avoid using essential oils topically during your first trimester. I always recommend not ingesting essential oils, but this is especially important when you're pregnant because everything you ingest gets passed on to baby as well. Check the oil to make sure it's safe to use while you're pregnant. We're going to talk about this on the next slide. And always dilute appropriately, which we're going to talk more about later too. So when you're pregnant, here are some essential oils that you want to avoid throughout all trimesters. Basil, camphor, cassia, cinnamon, clove, cypress, lemongrass, oregano, sage, and wintergreen. You don't want to use these topically at all and only diffuse in larger open rooms. And on the flip side, here are some essential oils that are safe to use while you're pregnant. And you'll notice that peppermint says not breastfeeding safe. So it's safe to use when you're pregnant, but then you want to avoid it when you're breastfeeding because it can actually reduce your milk supply. In a different lesson in this module, I share some DIYs to use while you're pregnant, and it's going to include oils on this list. Here are the oils you want to avoid when nursing. The list is the same as oils that you want to avoid while you're pregnant with the addition of peppermint oil. It's also important to consult with your OBGYN before using oils while pregnant or nursing. And when using oils topically, the dilution rate is 1%, and that is about 3 drops of essential oil per 2 teaspoons of a carrier oil.